Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Entity Self, good morning. Nice to see you here again, sir. I hope you enjoy the flight with us. Chris, Hakan, Kevin, Paul, and Uncle John, welcome to Discord, guys.
Morning.
Welcome.
Morning.
Good morning.
Excellent. Excellent.
Mr. Hakan, I sent you image of aircraft.
Sir, I'm looking for it. It's beautiful.
Right, it sounds like Pilot Sasso is going to fly with us this morning. So there we go. He's here. Good morning, Sasso. Just enable your push to talk in Discord, then you can chat with us. All right, guys, so for those of you that do not know Pilot Sasso, he is a real-world pilot. He flies the actual aircraft that we are simulating, and he knows these routes off by heart. So if you've got any questions, you're also welcome to ask him if he does not mind. Morning, Sasso.
Good morning to everyone, and thank you.
Good stuff.
Good
Good
morning.
Morning, Sasso.
Morning.
Right, so I'm going to start my 20-minute timer and make sure that it gets locked for the VA. There we go. And then we can get going. Guys, if you've got questions or anything you want to chat about relevant to the topic, obviously you're welcome to just pop a note in the chat there. Right, so Jake Gleason, good morning. Jason, I've got it. Good morning, Jason. Yeah, well, welcome from South Africa. Lovely day here. I had the heater on, but it's getting a bit warm now, so I'm going to switch that off. Winter is no joke. I don't like it at all. And at least the blood's flowing now. We're ready to go. So my VA did not give me any tips. They didn't give any in terms of the flight plan. We had to create our own flight plan. I hope everything is a-okay this side. So let's get STKP on and start loading. Does help if you remember the full stop.
I'll be ready to go when you are, Nico.
Yeah, it's going to take me 20 minutes, minus 1 minute 45 now. So, unfortunately, that's part of flying for the VA. Captain Olaf, good morning, good morning. As long as you're happy, Olaf, then everybody's happy. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Right, so this morning I had an interesting chat with somebody about getting the ground services to actually open and close the doors automatically. I tried setting it up quickly with the data refs, but I failed miserably. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it right. I probably will, but it didn't happen this morning. So just as a matter of interest, that's one of the things that kept me busy early on.
That would be neat, Nico.
Yeah. They did it for the dollars, and they obviously do it for their own jar design aircraft. So it must be doable. I must just find how to do it, because if I go into the config and I just add the data ref, it actually does not even load the ground handling services. It's like it really just point blank refuses. So I need to just find out what the trick is to actually do it. I'll ask Andre, one of the guys. Hoekster, a VA is a virtual airline, so let me show you what it is about. So on the screen right now, you see my page from Ryanair Virtual. All right. So if we go to the beginning, let's start from the beginning. Um, I can book flights and I can see other guys who are flying. The flight that we did book this morning for Ryanair Virtual is this one. We're going to fly Rome Fiumicino to Ibiza. It gives certain hints, and then we on this route had to create our own flight, which isn't a problem with all the tools we have. It tells us passengers and cargo weights and all kinds of things like this. So what happens is we then use this tool. Let me just change the screen for you. We then use this tool, which is the tracking tool, Smart Cars, that tracks our flight. The flight then gets logged into the VA system, and according to your performance, you are then scored on different points, and also according to your flight hours, you get your flight hours logged. And then what happens is in the actual system, you basically rank up. So if we go back to the first page there, you should see I am, um, well, it says a training captain. I'm pretty sure I was a senior captain, so they've demoted me for some reason or something. Or this is their way of saying it's the next one. Let's actually go have a look now that I see that. Documents, rank manual. I might have it totally wrong. Oh, okay, so that's the next rank. Oh, sorry, I demoted myself. All right, so I was a senior captain. It means that I had 200 hours and also 18,500 points. That's what the minimum requirement is. Once you reach those requirements, you obviously you level up, and you'll see each level has got its own requirements. And anyway, so I'm a training captain. I didn't even know that. Anyway, now I know.
You're good,
Um,
mate.
sorry, Sasa?
You're good.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Uncle John is a senior training captain already because he's got over 600 hours already. Um, I'll never catch up at this rate ever. I said to him one day I'll come, sit there by the daisies when he's lying under the daisies, and we'll have a conversation about me actually meeting the requirement when I'm in my old age. But it's all fun and games. That's just part of the fun that you have, and obviously there's a community, and within the tool there's also a flight map, so you can actually check how the guys fly around. These are all guys flying for Ryanair Virtual right now. So that's the background behind a VA, Hooksters. If you ever want a reason to fly, I would highly recommend joining a VA. And specifically for the Zibo, it's the best one in Europe is Ryanair because they exclusively fly the 737-800s. All right. And then in the US, the best one to join would be Southwest, Southwest Virtual, because they also exclusively fly the 700s and the 800s and also Maxes now. But while you've got the Zibos, you can fly them for the 7 and 800s. So you're welcome. You're welcome, guys. Feel free to ask your questions if we've got time and it's appropriate to answer them. We'll definitely do so. So I just want.
Which time you are in Fiumicino?
I think it's 208. Let me just double check.
Okay.
Don't know if it's actually marked. Yeah. Let me zoom out quickly. 608. Sorry, my friend. There you go. 608 according to my scenery. Let me zoom out, then you get the lay of the land. That's runway 07, yeah. All right, so I'm almost, it's just the second um, building there. I hope that helps you. Righto.
Slide slow. Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain.
Hello, I'm on your left.
Obstacle.
Thank you, sir. I shall have a look just now.
Full up. Airspeed low.
Adjust vertical speed. Adjust. Climb. Climb now. Climb.
There we go. Welcome. Good morning, Will.
Thank you.
Um, the other guys that said they're flying on, not flying on Vatsum, I do not see them. Hakan, are you going to fly on Vatsum? Because there I see another Ryanair.
I'm on Watson right now.
Great stuff. Okay, so we're at least 3 guys visible.
Maintain. Maintain
Yeah, and I'm
vertical
also on
speed.
Batson.
Crossing.
It is me, sir.
Monitor
Thank you,
vertical
Hakan.
speed. TCAS.
No idea why he
Fast.
come up with that texture, with that library. I have no idea.
That you log into Vatsum as RYR with your number.
Okay.
It depends on your call sign. It's going to read it from there. That's the first thing. And yeah, I think it's the only thing. The Xpilot only evaluates it that way. So you need to make sure your call sign starts with RYR.
If you want, I can read METAR, sir.
You're welcome to read the meter, Hakan.
Wind variable at 3 knots in Roma. In Rome.
Thank you.
Variable wind direction from 140 to 250. Visibility 10 plus. Clouds non-reported. Temperature 19 degrees centigrade. Dew point 11 centigrade. No precipitation. Altimeter 1018 millibar.
Thank you very much for your cooperation this morning.
You're welcome, sir, but I'm going to choose runway 07 for takeoff.
Yeah, we all did.
Good. Ibiza is calm, by the way. There is no problem in Ibiza. You can bring your shorts with you.
Hakan, I've got my speedo, don't worry.
Okay, sir, no problem. Nico, Jose waiting in Skymatics FPO for your information on Discord. Okay.
More Jose.
Uncle John, have you got your mankini?
Terrifying thought.
You said, and you know what? The worst is he wears it topless.
my God. We can't hear you, John.
Push to talk.
I'm going to wear my Zibo shorts. You can hear that, can't you? 5x5, John. Every time I have to keep reconnecting once I go onto my Zibo. Once I've gone into there, I can't do push to talk. I have to come back into here. Yeah, you got to change. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We have a sunny day in Rome, and we have a special guest who is Passenger Escobar. Today we are carrying out some special stuff, but I don't know what is that. I hope everything will be fine in Ibiza.
We trust everything will be fine, Hakan.
Okay, sir.
When it comes to that, when it comes to that special stuff, you know, we don't ask questions. Eh? We're just the pilots. We just do what we paid to do.
In the schedule, it was written like special stuff.
Okay, okay. You see, and don't ask questions.
There are some missing special stuff in Ibiza, sir. We are carrying out.
Okay.
People are unhappy there. Jose again on Skymatics FPO, sir.
Jose.
Morning.
How are you?
Good morning.
Morning. Nice to see you, Mr. Hakan.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you up there, Hakan.
Thank you, sir. Same for me. Good to see you too as well.
Hello, Hakan.
Hello, hello.
Mod.
I'm pushing back and wait.
Okay.
I got 189 PAX aircraft and I'm full.
Good. Yeah, I'm not that
Captain
heavy.
Hudson on the fasten seatbelt sign. We do ask that all passengers take their seat at this time and please fasten your seatbelt. Just as a reminder, we cannot leave the gate until...
Rome traffic, good morning. This is Ryanair 982. We are starting up and pushing back for runway 07.
Strange thing is that I can't see the other traffic with the Ryanair livery. I can see just the default 737 one.
Did you download the Bluebell CSLs and install them?
Round to cockpit, plan
Um,
acknowledged. Call
well,
me
I
through the
got
menu
this
when you are ready.
CSL
Just from
update.
Iveo.
Yeah,
Maybe, and I'm just saying maybe, we need to just get you the Bluebell ones, because I'm using Bluebell for VATSIM. I know in the past I did use Iveo. That's why I said yesterday it shouldn't be a problem. But if it really doesn't want to work, then I would suggest we get you the Bluebell ones for
Ground to
VATSIM.
cockpit, tow is driving up.
Did you reconnect? Because I don't see you now.
no, I just disconnect because I want to
Okay.
load this this library.
Ryanair 7527 at stand 604. Push and start.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
I can only see one traffic available in Rome.
Well, Me and you, we are definitely. I don't know where Kevin is parked. Oh no, he's right on the other side of the airport. You won't
Ah,
see
I
So
him.
see.
connected and
I
bypass
see.
pin
I see.
inserted. Release parking brake.
Fiumicino, traffic line Air 9900, push and start, gate 608.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Good morning, Steve. Yes, yeah, I'm flying the Beta again today. Lots of issues and controversy about it, but if you treat it correctly, it actually works very well. I don't have issues with it, to be honest.
Pushing back we go.
Okay.
I'm going to be number 2. I observe you, Nico, and then we will fly very good today.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by. Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the left. We'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
Rome, this is Ryanair 982, taxi to runway 07.
Fiumicino, traffic Ryanair 9900, taxi to holding point runway 07 via Bravo.
Wrong traffic, Ryanair 7527, taxi to runway 07 via Sierra.
VNAV departure today.
Sorry, Paul. Something about VNAV departure?
Looks like it's a straightforward LNAV VNAV departure
Oh
today.
yeah.
Oh, you use
Spectrum.
VNAV. You use
Yeah.
VNAV as well for the departure.
Yep.
Okay.
Depending on the mood, I change between, the standard Ryanair kind of departure, flying it a little bit and then over 1,000, doing another thing and another thing.
Yeah.
But usually when we just do group flights like this, and when I do training, I just use VNAV because it's the simplest way of just doing it.
Yeah. Actually, we were. I was part of a trial to try to do it in the real.
Okay.
We did it for, I don't know what it was, 1 month, but then we decided not to put in place this rule because there were kind of a bug in the system.
Okay. Hakan, so you want to be number 2?
Yes, sir. I'm waiting for you. Or I can be number 3 as well. Did you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. I've got you here on my left. I'm
Yeah,
driving right in front of you now.
I'm shaking my rudders.
Okay.
I'm right behind Nico, Hakan.
I hope he said rudders.
Matty, good morning, goeiemorgen, welcome. Timothy, I'm on the beta and there we have the traffic. There are a couple of tricks that you need to understand, to get the traffic working. But once you've got all the requirements from the developers implemented, it's actually straightforward. It just works. I see that the Bluebell CSLs are the best ones to use. You shouldn't try and use the other ones, first of all. And then you need to have the correct C++ installed because you've got to have 15, 17, and 19 on the X-Pilot beta. Once they are installed, it's straightforward. It just seems to work, huh? I did wave at Hakan. I might have held up a middle finger too, but he didn't see. He didn't say he saw that. So Hakan, I'm sorry, you missed that. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
So anyway, I used the runway there to just get the proper line up, and I'm just gonna quickly set up the rest of the system, and then we're gonna get going. And I need to get off this map. Yeah, in some Toolkit Pro. There we go. We're off the map. Our performance should be much better. Landing lights, taxi lights, runway.
Wrong traffic, this is Ryanair 982, holding point runway 07.
Fiumicino traffic, Ryanair 9900 taking off runway 07 with a south departure. Here we go. Yeah.
Wrong traffic, Ryanair 982 lining up.
Timothy, what we found with Hakan's installation, for instance, is he had to start over. For some reason, he had also a bit of a problem in his current Bluebell, so he had to re-download everything, reinstall everything, and remember the offsets go in last. And then it was the C++, and magically it all worked. Oh, the other thing, if you want to see the TCAS traffic, you just have to make sure you're on the latest terrain radar as well. Then TCAS will also work. You can see there on my end, TCAS is definitely, oh, you can't see, let's see, we'll bring it down. There's TCAS, it's working perfectly. So, yeah, if you just go through the motions, my friend, it will work. Dougal, good morning. Yeah, just in time. gear up and off and auto brake off.
Taxi now, Nico.
Excuse me, sorry, I didn't hear.
Taxi now, Nico.
Taxi, okay, cool. Chris, you also here with us.
Which departure do you use, Nico? South?
South 2, yes.
Ah, okay.
I think so, yeah, I think so. Spoke to him earlier, I think it was on Wednesday in the week. I asked him if he's okay and so on. I also sent him some other information. He said he's very busy this week. We'll talk again next week. So we're almost at next week. Yeah. And we'll have some nice chats with him again. I just love this auto scenery.
Norm traffic, Ryanair 7527 at Holden Point
nice,
for runway
yeah.
07. Will line up and take off behind Hakan Airways.
Hakan Airways.
My company traffic's making joke like always. Just we need to wait 1 minute more, by the way.
Thank you, Hakan Airways. Steve, no, you know what, every single person in the team, everyone has got real world jobs, and he was just too busy this week with real world stuff, so give him a day or two and you'll get surprised again. I did showcase some of the new development on one of my videos. I can't remember if it was on YouTube or if it was on Twitch. But we did slip in a couple of things there, so if you guys were awake at the time, you would have noticed a couple of things that's coming. Absolutely, yeah. It's a lot of work, eh?
Ryanair 982 Airborne.
Hello, Steiner, welcome. That's okay.
Chris and Mick, they kept me up again.
Oh, yeah, we should have a word with them. How can they do that to you? Guys, so without teasing too much, I just want to show you, because it is now public knowledge, I can show you. This is some of the new stuff that's coming. This is what it looks like in Blender, and this is what it looks like on the mod. How's that?
Wow.
Rome traffic, Ryanair 7527, take off runway 07.
So, like I said, we've slipped it in before. Might as well show you guys so you don't stay in the dark. Big things are coming, guys. It's not as if all the work has stopped. It's just not been released yet. So just hang in there.
I'm going to complain you.
You can complain all you want.
Did you see? This was the private stuff that we mentioned. Some special stuff at the beginning of the.
No. It wasn't the same stuff. Don't worry.
Okay.
I suppose, yeah, we did. All right, there we go.
Ryanair 7527 airborne.
Well, to change to Vulcan means a lot of things are not going to work, and there are lots of things, and I mean the biggest thing you need is patience to work through each and every plug-in and element that might or might not work. So it's not for the faint-hearted. If you can diligently work through it, you guys can do it, you know. But it took me a freaking couple of tries to actually get my Vulcan working the way it is. And I'm currently, you know what, let me put this thing on here, then you can see my FPS. I've got a very stable high 30s FPS. The only thing that brings down my FPS currently, because it is a work in progress and Danny is working on it, is just some Toolkit Pro. You know, so I have a much smoother experience here, much better experience with this one. Yeah, build 6, definitely, it's a very nice one. Timothy, you'll have to get 20, if you get the correct download, it will include 2015, 17 and 19 as one download, but you need all three of them for the traffic and everything to really work. Right, okay, so most of this flight is going to be over water. There's not much I can show you. So if you guys have got any questions or just want to, you know, chat a little bit, this is the time, guys. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a boring flight unless you're flying it yourself, you know. So feel free. You have an opportunity now to start.
I'm happy to answer any question.
Yes.
If there are.
Yaku, what are you talking about? Okay, hold on, let me read that. Well, Yaku, we're gonna have to troubleshoot it between you and Will. We need to find out, because that is a bit low. That's very, very strange. Just before we continue, please, the guys that came in late, you are not aware of this. We have a real-world pilot that flies this actual route with us. His name is Pilot Sasso. So if you guys have real-world questions about this operation, that is also allowed this morning in the stream. So you guys are welcome to ask Sasso some questions, me some questions, things like that. Otherwise, we'll have to delve into this whole FPS drop thing. Okay, so feel free to ask your questions.
Ask how much money you earn.
Oh, it took like 2 million yesterday. What do you want to ask him things like that for? He's not going to tell you if it's really 2 million. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Well, the situation is, I don't want to say it's critical now for aviation, but anyway, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So now it depends how it will go. We'll see.
Entity, all I can recommend is go into my OneDrive. The link is in the description below the video. If you click on show more, go in there and copy my active sky settings. It might be that one of your settings is just too harsh for the system, you know, because what their idea of realism is and what realism is sometimes are two different things. Check that out. So anyway, unless there are other questions, Yaku and Will, you guys are going to have to look at your plugins, because it actually starts way even before that, but plugins is very definitely a cause of issues, and also updates. You know, if you get an update from somewhere, like a weather update that actively talks, Maybe it's your weather. What weather engines are you using? The other thing is, did you actually exclude X-Plane and all other programs that is loaded on your system that interacts with X-Plane? Did you exclude them from your antivirus? That's very important, because if your antivirus finds a big file, starts scanning it, it's going to, immediately reduce the power that goes to your X-Plane. Okay, Timothy. Yeah, it's a plugin or a script or an antivirus. There's something that initiates that brings down the FPS. So you're going to have to start a process of elimination. All right, so you have to start a process of elimination, enable certain plugins, disable them, and then enable them one by one. See which one's causing it. So are you actually flying now as well? Did you get that CSL?
No, not really. I'm just going through the various library that I need for the Shannery.
Okay.
Just building up.
Jaco, I agree. 1 FPS is crazy. Mine goes down to about 15 sometimes when I'm in heavy areas. And then one of the things I've learned, even with my stronger VGA card, is my texture quality needs to be a little bit lower. The higher your texture quality is, the more FPS you will also lose.
That we don't want to see this.
What?
Texture quality and reducing FPM.
Yeah, let me show you my settings quick. This is my settings over here, and believe it or not, this seems to be optimal for me. I've had it at high, and I've brought it back here. This seems to be optimal, and if I use these settings, you guys can see, and now it's bouncing because of the weather. Oops. Look at my FPS there. It's almost at 40 the whole time, which is cool.
Have you started using Vulkan, Nico?
This is Vulkan.
Good.
I flew it twice in the week. The rest of the flights were all done in 11:41 of X-Plane. And then when I saw, oh no, it's okay, it's stable, I thought, oh, why not show it this morning? Yeah, that number of world objects directly hits your CPU as well, eh?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can observe in the right side C, and also in the left side again C. There is nothing else. Your sexy captain is speaking.
Sexy Hakan captain, yeah.
No. Sexy captain voice.
Yeah. Well, Jaco, you're going to have to play around with it. I'm thinking that something loads, and it's during the loading process that it kind of gets stuck. Yeah, if you have X Organizer, that's the easiest way of doing it. Get X Organizer and then disable all the plugins and the scripts. Go fly, then test them one by one as you bring them back. Absolutely, Timothy. Well, don't ever click on the X-Plane screen while it's loading, because that's the #1 killer. Once it goes white, you sometimes don't get it back. It will just die, so don't click on it. Jacob, but then if it's not X-Plane, if it's not the plugins, there could very well be a bad sector or a problem on your hard drive. Please test your hard drive, no matter how new it is. It could have a problem. Well, look, the graphics are already such low quality in or low. How can we put it? The size is it's a very small size already. If you bring it down to low in Vulkan, you're gonna have blurries. So you need to find the sweet spot between blurries and good performance.
Ruggle McTavish, Nico.
Yeah.
He asked a question.
He's speaking to
But-
Yaku.
Yeah. I just realized. Sorry.
Yeah.
How is your PC with other games?
Yeah.
This is not game, by the way. So for your information.
Yeah, that is a simulation.
This
Okay.
is not game. We pay a lot.
Yeah. Yaku, check your weather engine. Check your if it's when a weather update happens, and check your plugins and scripts. That's all I can think of. And test that hard drive. Make sure your hard drive actually runs properly. Yeah, no, we know that. You guys go ahead there. I'm not going to interfere. If I see you guys on track, I'll leave you. You can do your thing, chat with each other.
What's your final flight level, sir? Nico, what's your final flight level?
Akan?
I asked that. What's your final flight level, sir?
350.
Good. I need to make an estimation for descending. So okay, good. It is manageable. Mine, 33,000.
No problem.
And I'm at 29,000.
Something is wrong.
It all depends on what somebody gives. Yaku, just another thought. I obviously don't know your system and what you've got loaded, but I've noticed a couple of guys complain while they use reshade. Now, I will have to go back to my install guide because I noted when Zibo told me and he gave me the instruction to note it in the install guide. I'll have to go back what the correct setting would be for the Zibo. But if you are using a reshade, and also again I'll have to double check this, so it might be the other way around, don't hold me to it, but you'll get the idea of what I'm trying to explain. Reshade does not like the NVIDIA drivers to have threaded optimization on. If you have it on, it's going to make your machine, the FPS, very low. Okay. On the same hand, the Zibo wants threaded optimization on. So now you have the system clashing against what Zibo wants. You understand? And you guys must look at things like that as well. That is a prime example, and that's why I'm giving it to you. So the best thing with the Zibo is not to use reshade, because depending on what your threaded optimization setting is, you're going to have a clash, and you know you're going to have to find the time to switch it on or off depending on which aircraft you fly, kind of a thing. And that has been a big problem for the last month or two at least, that I know guys have been complaining about FPS. It's just because they load things in there that have got certain requirements, and then they use things that have got other requirements, and then the two don't play nice together.
I have a question to pilot Sasso, sir.
Okay, before you
ahead,
do that, let me just quickly answer Will here. Will, the latest version of the A320 will work in Vulkan? Yes. And Vulkan does block all third-party shaders. We're not necessarily talking about Vulkan, Dougal. I'm just giving an example from experience. So on 1141, that is typically the situation. Okay, your turn, Hakan, go.
First of all, which type of aircraft are you flying with, sir?
No, I'm not with there.
No, sorry, you're misunderstanding him. He's asking what aircraft are you flying in the real world?
Oh yeah, in real world it is 737-800, the NG.
Good.
Aha, good. My question then, what was the most interesting thing have you faced with during a flight?
A big squall line, so a series of thunderstorm. They were over Spain in an evening, and I was flying from Luton down to Murcia, which is a small regional airport in Spain. And basically, we ended up with these big squall lines in front of us, and there was no possibility to avoid it. So basically, it was not red, of course, but it was a good yellow, let's say, on the weather radar. So we decided to descend to have a bit of margin in terms of performance, and then we passed it, but at the end it was fine. That was quite interesting because it was during night. It was something that we knew could cause problem in terms of comfort. No problems in terms of emergency, but just comfort for the passengers. But then it was fine.
I see. Thank you very much. Have you
Welcome.
lived lightning strike issue in that flight?
No lighting. No. I had another lightning strike down to Lamezia in South Italy. So basically coming from the sea, we were approaching runway 10, I think. Yeah, runway 10. And we had lightning strike. Actually, I was flying the flight, and we had lightning strike on the left wings. But the engine was fine. We just had a red indicator, but just 3 seconds. And then, of course, we didn't apply the reverse on that engine just to avoid any possibility of, fire or whatever. So we just brake manually with idle reverse, and that's it.
Another question, brief one. If you compare with the hail strike and lightning strike, which one is the most terrible one for a pilot?
In between which one? The lightning strike, the normal one, or
hail strike? Hail.
Yeah, I would say hail strike, just because the hail strike, the problem is that they can technically they can break the window in some kind of way, or not completely break, but at least create some visibility issue. So the lightning strike can, let's say, fucked up an engine, but at least we are all trained to fly with just one engine. It's very rare to have a double engine failure because of a lightning strike. But if we have let's say problem with visibility, then it starts to become more serious, and hail strike can create problem also in terms of window and stuff like this.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your answer.
So?
Yeah.
There's another question from Dougal on stream.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you ever consider attempting a restart if you're shot an engine down due to burst strike? Well, likely. I never got a burst strike myself. There are some procedures in place. So basically, as you can see in the stream, there is the upper DU, so just below so left of the landing gear. That is our main engine information. Now, if we have a burst strike or an engine failure or an engine fire or whatever, we will get some information out from that screen. And it depends which information we will get. we can decide if attempt a restart or not. So it really depends. For example, yeah, when there is now, you can see N1 on the top, then AGT, and then you have N2 as well. Now, those are the main information for you regarding the life of the engine, how the engine is behaving. If you have, for example, some numbers on N1, some numbers on N2, that's fine. This means you can technically try to restart the engine. If suddenly you hear a loud bang and a vibration, a really good vibration, and then of course a yaw of the aircraft, and you start to see that N1 is completely zero and N2 is completely zero, let's say, on engine number 2, so on the right engine, this is a serious problem, because this means the engine has separated or the engine has had a severe damage. In that case, you don't even try a restart. You go straight into the one engine checklist, the one engine landing checklist, and you divert to an airport. That's it. So regarding the bird strike, it depends. It depends on what the engine will say to us in terms of instrument, and then we decide.
In this case, we have completed chapter 1, hail strike, lightning strike, and bird strike. All the strikes done.
Yeah.
Now we just need to handle the ATC strike. We'll vector ourselves, right?
Yes, sir.
3 strikes and you're out.
Yeah, you have to jump, take the parachute and go.
If you want, I can give you an information about the lightning strike and hail strike from the structural point of view as well.
Well, Hakan, before you do that, let's just quickly remind the guys, you are an aeronautical structure stress test engineer. So Hakan is actually very qualified to talk about this. So go ahead, Hakan.
Maybe this information is an unknown information, but interestingly, which is called ECF layer on the top side of the some structures, which is a kind of map. When lightning strike occurs, follow that route on the airplane until releasing the aircraft. ECF means foil, but what foil I don't remember. I need to check it out, because the analyzing was 2-3 years ago.
Isn't it copper?
Copper. So it is interesting. It's a kind of layer just under the glass fiber reinforced plastic layer. After that, ECF, then carbon fibers continues.
Interesting.
Yeah, there is a map, by the way, that when lightning strikes hits to airplane,
it will follow the road, so to speak.
Yes. In some airplanes, for example, there is no static. What was the name of it? I don't remember really. It was too much years ago. Static pitot, not pitot. What was the name of it? Static something. Static discharger. Yeah.
Yeah, static.
Yeah, they are the wings.
Yes.
They are the small black. Let's say the small black thing that you can see on the wings.
Yeah, it looks like little aerials.
Yeah.
But in new technology, there is no static dischargers in some structures. They are removed.
Static wicks. There's your proper word.
What did you say, sir?
Static wicks. It's like the wick of a candle. That thing that looks like an aerial. It looks like the wick of a candle. So that's basically what it is. That's in the old aircraft or your little light aircraft. That's what they have to just discharge it.
We are considering bird strike and also hail strike issue as well. So I wanted to ask you in parallel with my knowledge.
Gotcha.
Thank you very much again for your answer.
I've been in severe storms in the Boeing, but I've never experienced a lightning strike. Fortunately, or hail, neither one of them.
Then I have, well, I knew how to fly an airplane, but I'm completely, I don't know how to manage a desktop PC and whatever hardware and software, blah blah. Now I tried yesterday evening to connect my joystick, that is a Microsoft Force Feedback 2, whatever. It works, but when I try to let's say set up the various key into the settings of X-Plane, there is a funny one. One button, I select apply the brakes, but when I press it, it starts to pause and unpause the simulator. And I have no clue why.
Okay, we'll have to help you troubleshoot afterwards, also.
Yeah. So
no, we'll have to see, because it's not supposed to.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, your sexy pilot is speaking. Right now, you can observe some islands on the left side.
I've just gone over it.
Yeah, Sardinia.
Bye-bye land.
Oh, you're just ahead of me there, Nico.
By the way, as an ordinary passenger, sir, I like turbulence in real-time flights. I like it, really I like it. People are annoying, but I like it.
Yeah, well, whatever makes you happy, Hakan.
Because I feel it. I feel the air. I feel the dynamics. Another thing I heard that Sasso, pilots low windy approach, windy landings. Is that true?
I love windy landings. I love. That's when we can put in real world all the training. I think I never did a training session with no wind. Never ever. And to be honest, every time I do a landing with a little bit of wind, that is perfect. It's so nice. When I do the same landing with no wind, well, it's not crap, but you know, you can feel a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's like, because consider the wind like something helping you to sit down the aircraft on the runway. So even if you close the throttle a little bit earlier, then the wind will help you to sit down nicely. Instead, if you have no wind, as soon as you shut the throttle, then the aircraft will go down.
Yeah.
It's not like sit down. That's it. But yeah, I love the windy situation.
Oh, sir, that is true. We have proved chapter 1, chapter 2 is okay.
Guys, we will hand out the tests towards the end. It's an open book test, but everyone is required to write it.
You know, and I'm still on chapter 0, setting up X-Plane. That's the problem, but anyway.
Don't worry, you'll get there, my friend. You know the old saying, Rome wasn't built in one day, and we'll help you where we can, you know. So
oh yeah, absolutely.
We'll
I'm just downloading. I think I'm downloading the all forum X-Plane server, but anyway, that's another matter.
Another question, sir.
Go.
What do you think about Zibo Mod 737?
It's
If you compare
wonderful.
with the,
It's
yeah,
wonderful.
if you
I can
compare
tell you
with
more.
if you compare with real airplane with real 737, what do you
I can tell
think?
you more. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go.
lots of the pilots I speak to, they like this a lot.
Yeah, consider that there is a captain in my company, and he's also an instructor. He's a good friend of mine, and he helped with the creation of the Zibo. So it's very, very good.
Yep.
But again, chapter 0, I'm trying to setting up all the stuff even on the Zibo. So, and then I had something strange yesterday. I was trying to do an ILS in Bergamo, and I set up the courses and the frequency that I know. So 284 for the course and the frequency. And the frequency came up, but the course was 282 instead of 284. But I know for sure it's 284.
I know, but you see, one of the problems we have, and you need to go to this YouTube channel of mine and you need to watch the video that is called the ILS fix video.
Okay.
The data that is used by X-Plane is more than 10 years old, and what has happened subsequently is with the magnetic declination that has moved,
yeah,
you know, that is now out. It's not what you get on your charts anymore. So once you buy Navigraph and you start using Navigraph or any other paid service like your Aerosoft Nav Data Pro, whatever, once you use payware data in your AirAC cycle, there are more than 8,000 discrepancies between what the current ERAC says and what the data in X-Plane is. All right, and so for that there is a routine that you need to run. It's in your Zibo tablet where you need to switch it on and then save that setting, and it will actually marry the two systems. So you will have some of the new and some of the old to make it usable, you know, and user friendly in X-Plane.
Yeah, because I have Navigraph and I downloaded the Navigraph manager, so I already updated.
Yeah,
I updated all the X-Plane, let's say database. I don't know how it's called.
Yeah, but you've only
in
updated.
fact, the FMC is updated. The Zibo FMC is updated.
Correct, but that Navigraph data does not overwrite or supersede the 10-year-old data that is in X-Plane. All right, and the X-Plane data is always read first unless you have a custom file. All right, so that's the rule how X-Plane works. So what Zibo does, if you go into the tablet here, I'll show you in your settings. I think it's page 4 over here. Nope, then custom nav data. Yeah, so let me go back there. It's under customize and then general config on page 2. You'll see here create custom nav data, and you have to switch it on, and then obviously you have to go and, you know, save your settings so that it remembers it. Okay, what then happens is the Zibo will create a custom navigational file in your custom data folder, and that will be the marriage between the old and the new data to make it more user friendly for today in our time.
Okay. Yeah. I can do it now, or I need to do something else?
No, you can do
I can do it now.
You can do it now. Just make sure that you, once you've set that setting, to go and save it, because otherwise you're going to have to redo it with every flight.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so every time that you're going to install an add-on airport, it's going to detect the discrepancy. It's going to see, oh, there's something new. It's going to rerun the database creation tool in the background. Okay, and then there's two ways then. You either have to restart your X-plane, or you can use your developer menu at the top and select reload the current aircraft and art, but you have to reload the Zibo to use this file basically, and then you're okay. Then you should be fine.
Okay, I will set it now, so it will start to work nicely.
Yeah. Hooksters, he's not flying, so even if he is flying, he can set it, but it won't take effect until he restarts X-plane.
You restart. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so you're welcome to do it, but just don't restart immediately.
I have two questions to Captain, sir.
Okay, shoot.
One, I heard that German ATCs is the best in the world. What do you think about that, sir?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, not Germany, but the UK is the best ATC.
Okay, this is your opinion.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He says British.
He what?
He says British ATCs.
Yeah. Well, but he's
yeah.
welcome. He's welcome to say that if it's true. What's your second question?
My second question: what is the best airport have you landed? What? Which airport do you like to land?
Let me think. I think the best one was I had approaches in Madrid we were like 4 aircraft, 2 on one runway and 2 on the other runway.
Wow.
And that was really amazing.
Wow.
Like to see which point the aviation world, well, actually was until 3 months ago. Yeah. You were like perfect safe with 1 aircraft in front of you and 2 aircraft on your left. No problem to land together in the same runway. That was crazy in a positive way.
Wow.
I mean, I wanted to ask from the architectural point of view, which airport do you like? Not actually for flying, I'm asking.
Yeah. In terms of, let's say, scenery and landscape, I had a good flight down to Greece, Thessaloniki. That was really, really nice. We were basically just this runway and then there was just water. And that was really nice.
Nice.
Yeah. In terms of landscape. Not flying, because I mean, I think they, if I remember, they are without a radar. So in that case, you just go one by one. But in terms of landscape, it was amazing.
Nico, in this case, we need to fly to Thessaloniki.
All right. Okay. Next time, maybe tomorrow. Okay.
Sir, Thessaloniki.
We'll see if we can get a connecting
yeah, that will
flight.
do.
Yeah. Sasa.
What?
Where do you fly from to get to Thessaloniki?
Bergamo.
Bergamo. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we need to go back to Bergamo then.
So, I'm into my iPad now. Create custom data. We switch it on.
Yes. Then you go to page 1, and you need to go save it. So that's the tablet remembers the saving. So you go to page 1, click save and load, and then the top left, quick save all configs.
Okay, that's done.
Yes.
Now another thing is keeping already the hectopascal, the one I set it before, the LED lights and stuff. I did a little bit of configuration.
Yeah, every time you make a configuration change in your tablet, you need to come here to save and load and save all your settings, eh? Otherwise it throws it away.
Pressing quick save all configs.
Yes. Yeah, that saves the tablet settings.
So another question.
Yeah.
So go
regarding
first.
the Zibo. Yeah, sorry, just regarding the Zibo, how can I make it to start in cold and dark? I know it's a stupid question.
No. Go to your config there. Display variants, and it should be on one of these pages. Hold on, I'll tell you just now. Give me a second. I must just find it.
Well, he's
General
finding.
config. I think it's also general config. Yes. Page 1 of general config. Engine no run. You can select cold and dark or turn around.
Okay, selected engine no running cold and dark
Yes.
is green, so
Yes.
is the one selected.
That is the one.
But they are still on.
Okay, now then look at my screen. If you go to flight and flight configuration, if you go to
Okay,
customize,
one sec. Yeah.
there, that button, that mustn't be ticked because start with engines running. That's the shortcut in explain. So make sure there's no tick in there.
Oh, okay. You see how stupid I am?
No. It's just not your forte. We'll get you there. We're going to teach you.
Yeah, please. I would love to have a possibility to do a group flight with you.
Yeah,
but
of
you know,
course.
I don't want to be a pain in the ass. I
No,
want
no.
to
You know,
organize
what you need to do,
everything for.
what you need to do, okay? Because look at the guys sitting in this room here with us. Most of the guys here have already gone through this, and most of them should have the knowledge to help you. And there are guys who are not here that also come into the server. So spend time on this Discord server and ask your questions here. The guys here will help you. Quick. If I'm not here, they'll help you, and if I'm here, I'll help you. We'll get you going.
Thank you so much. So now he's in cold and dark. That's wonderful.
Final question is coming.
Go.
Do you perform category 3 landing, sir?
Oh yes, many times.
What do you think in the final touch? What do you feel? Because you don't control the airplane.
You know, man, once I had a go around, started at the radio altimeters was 49 and the minima was 50. So basically we came up and we pressed the dock button right at the minima. We were not feeling quite safe to continue, and we just did a go around. Now, the Cat 3 approaches, to me, for myself, it is really just look inside, and then at the end, just the one who is not flying will watch outside, but just at the end, like when you are 60. No more than that. Now, I think for the Cat 3, there are some good Cat 3 and there are some bad Cat 3. Easy. I remember in Bologna, the Cat 3 for runway 12 is bad in terms of landing because the flare is done by the system. It is an auto land, of course. And I can tell you, it is not nice as it is in Bergamo, for example. But I had a good, some airports, especially in, I remember Plovdiv, Sofia, what else? Some other places in East Europe. We used to do lots of Cat 3 in the winter. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. What do you think about the virtual pilots? Whenever I talk with the real pilots as a virtual pilot, they are surprising. So, what do you think about our knowledge? We can talk with you in the same language from the technical point of view. Is it surprising for you?
Well, absolutely yes, but I like to say that I started using the flight simulator. I mean, my passion for flying and aviation started when I was, 12, 13 years old. I am 28 now, by the way. And when he started, it was like, you go to the airport, watch the airplanes coming, or you go in South Italy, because I'm from South Italy. You just go there and you see the aircraft, that's it. Then in 2005, 2006, I started with Flight Simulator 2004, and from that point I started to go deeply into these knowledge, into this aviation, going in internet, You know, FS 2004 was nothing compared with X-Plane or Prepare 3D nowadays. But that was a good start, and I remember many things, how many things I learned using the flight simulator by myself, and then I enjoyed.
That was helpful to pass your examinations, maybe easier than that.
Absolutely, yeah. It gave me a lot of knowledges that I then bring up during the training and build up together with the information that I got from the teachers and the instructors. Absolutely, the flight simulation, if it's done in the correct way, if it's done with the idea to learn something in a good way, and not just trying on first day to take off and blah blah. Yeah, you can take off and try to land, but that's not the real aim of the simulation. That is the aim of a game, not the simulation. If you want to do a proper simulation, then we want to learn a little bit more. And I must say, every time I talk with virtual pilots that use VATSIM or EVAO in a good way, with the idea to learn more and more, that's absolutely nice to see. And I can tell you, if I use some particular terms, you can understand. It's difficult that if I say some terms, apart from some particular terms, like for the Boeing 737 or whatever, but in general, you can understand most of the stuff I'm talking about. That's really nice. I had a friend of mine using Discord. I teach him to do the circle to land with the 737, for example.
What I think, sir, in this group, I mean, right now in Discord, can pass PPL exam very easily. This is my thought, by the way. But
Yeah, no.
For CPL and type rating, I don't have any idea.
Well, yeah, it depends. You have to build up your knowledge, so you can start. For sure, here you can. Let's say there are some school that will give you, for example, for a type rating, certain numbers of simulator in a proper sim, but then you have to do a lot of knowledge by yourself, lots of study by yourself, and lots of practice by yourself. I remember during the type rating, no more 2-3 years ago, when I did my first type rating on the 737, I used Flight Simulator at home with the PMDG to practice all the procedures. And I can tell you that was really helpful.
Okay, sir, Nico needs to explain something related to Ortho for XP. I follow him. And thank you very much for your answers. Thank you for your patience as well.
A pleasure.
That was, I believe that this was very good conversation for this flight. And
Absolutely.
Nice to meet you, by the way.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is mine. And when I can, when I'm free, I'm here. So I'm on Discord as well. The aim is once I set up all the X-plane and stuff, joystick and everything is working, my aim is to try to do some streaming as well. So we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. There are quite a few guys that have popped up now. You know, real world pilots that have started streaming, and it's nice because we will pick up little bits, you know, information from everybody. Not one flight is the same. So one time you talk about takeoff, one time you talk about FMC, then you talk about MCP, then you talk about the actual cruise and what you do. So it's very interesting, and it's nice having you here to speak to the guys. I had some very good feedback on the chat here about the guys liking, you know, everything that's being discussed. So thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Sì, grazie Sasso.
Prego.
Thanks, Sasso.
I asked all the questions, guys.
Somebody had to, Hakan. Somebody has to.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Hakan.
Guys, don't be
So,
shy, eh? There's 121 nautical miles from top of descent. I need to start preparing for the descent and the landing in the next, I would say, 50 nautical miles. So you've got a few minutes to ask more questions before I take over and start talking again.
Oh, you know what I managed by myself? I'm
Huh?
really proud of me. I managed to install a plugin to see the landing rate.
Okay.
I'm so happy, man. I managed to install
Good.
it and not making the X-plane to crash and everything like
Good.
fucked up. I'm so happy.
Good, man. Good.
That was like a Cat 3 landing with no visibility, I can tell you.
when
Good.
pilot speaks, another question raised. So,
No?
you know, we are following and registering our landing rates. What is the optimum in real time? How much G is optimum for passengers? How much angle is optimum for landing? So, could you please tell us FPM, G, and angle?
Okay. Well, it would be nice to have kind of plug-in of the landing rate in the real one. Because, to be honest, in the real aircraft, you just go with the feeling if it was a good landing or not. I can tell you the technique to try to achieve a good landing, a smooth landing. But to be honest, I don't know, because I can't see in the real one a landing rate. I can't see, I don't concentrate on the PFD, on the nose up or how many degrees, whatever. I can tell you the technique to do a nice landing. And maybe the landing rate plugin for Explain will give you a nice landing rate. What I saw in some forum, in some discussion, is that if the landing rate plugin says that your landing was between 120, minus 120, up to minus 160, that could be considered a nice landing. You don't want to achieve at 0 FPM, because you want to land with a sharp descent, of course. So if you see 0 FPM, well, I don't know. That's, to me, it's not a good landing, to be honest.
You're going to skid. You're going to break your tires, and also the spoilers won't deploy. There are a lot of things that simply will not deploy and work properly if you land softly.
I mean, in the real world, you have to do a positive touchdown, and positive touchdown means you need to land in your touchdown zone. That's the main thing. Especially, it happens to me. I remember Kerry Airport in Ireland. Now, Kerry and Knock, they are both two small airports, and gusty wind, rain, night. This mix was really when the pilots come up with what you learn. We did this landing, can't use flap 40 because of the wind, because with flaps 40 and gusty wind, the airplane is very, I mean, you have a lag, let's say, you have a lag in the controls, so we had to use flaps 30, this means a longer landing distance, but at the same time there was the gusty wind, so we had to add, and was crosswind, no headwind, so we had to add a little bit of margin on the VREF to have a safe speed, a safe margin on the speed. Now all combination of these ended up by increasing our landing roll, our landing distance, but the runway doesn't increase, the runway is fixed. So at that point, we absolutely, in that situation, need a positive touchdown to touch exactly at the aiming point and then start to brake. And in that occasion, we use auto brake max to stop. That is perfectly safe, but you have to do a positive touchdown. You can't concentrate too much in the comfort landing for the passengers. You have to do a positive touchdown, like you will feel the wheel on the tarmac, and then you start to brake. So it really depends on the situation. If I'm landing in Bergamo, I have 3 kilometers of runway. You know, I can manage a little bit of comfort as well. If I'm landing in Stansted with 4 miles behind me, I have another traffic. If I miss the taxiway, maybe you will have to go around because I'm still on the runway. So, you know, there are all small things in the real world that will make you to concentrate on the landing, but not just in terms of comfort for the passengers, but also in terms of dealing with all the other situation.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
I believe also that there is an effect with the water on the runway that you have to break through the surface for the friction to be good. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. For example, if it's raining and the runway is wet, and you are coming down with a little bit of wind, so your nose is into the wind, there is a technique called the crab during. There are two options. There are the crab before the flare or during the flare, or the crab after the flare. Now, if you are landing on a wet runway, the technique is to land with nose into the wind, so your nose will not point to the runway but will point into the wind, and then after the main wheel touchdown, use the rudder to put the nose wheel into the runway. And this is the technique to when you land on a wet runway. If you land on a dry runway, but you still have crosswinds, your nose will still be into the wind, then you the crab during the flare. So as soon as you start the flare, up 30 feet, you put your nose into the runway, and you land. These are the two techniques.
And I heard that if runway is wet, you need to land a little bit firm if you compare with the dry conditions.
Yeah, that's what Paul just said, Akan,
Yeah.
because you need to break through the water tension there.
Aha.
Yeah, absolutely. It's again, as I said, positive touchdown. You don't want to. If you float a bit, you can lose, 200 meters of runway. That's not easy to recover. So you can't permit yourself to float, especially on a wet runway. You need a positive touchdown to fly into the runway and then just flare at the end. Sometimes there are situations when the tendency, especially on a really nice day with 20 kilometers of visibility, the tendency is to start to look outside too early. So you start to look at the runway, and instead of flying the instrument, you fly the runway. So you fly by looking outside, but then a small pitch adjustment means a very big visual change. So let's say if I pitch up a bit outside, the visual completely change. And it's very difficult to fly big aircraft looking outside. If you, I don't know if it's clear what I'm trying to say. I mean, if you need an aiming point, and you need to fly into that aiming point. At the beginning, when you are far out from the runway, like at 10 miles, you can already see the runway if it's a nice day, but fly the instrument, follow the flight director, and then when you are approaching the 100 feet, look outside, not before.
What I
So
realized, sorry, go ahead, Paul.
I was going to say, so the view of the runway, the width of the runway, the length of the runway, and the perspective can trick your mind where you should really be looking at the instruments. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
that's what happened at LIBR when we landed, and I said to
Brindisi.
Sasso, yeah, Brindisi, I said to him, look, we're too low, and he said, no, it's because the runway is wider. Because instead of
Yeah.
normal 45 meters, this one is 60 meters wide, so it tricks your eyes into think you're low, but you're not.
A very good one for that illusion is Palermo 0725 is 60 meters.
Okay.
And when you are approaching with crosswind, so you are not pointing to the runway, but you are pointing with your nose into the wind, and then you are coming, and you see, I'm low. The tendency is to pull up a bit, so reduce the descent rate, that in 1 second you will be with 4 wide, that is a go around straight away. So I mean, always fly the instrument, and then when you have your aiming point, fly the aiming point, but when you are close to the runway, not before. I had a situation where Dublin, runway 1028, basically they were doing some work at the beginning of the runway, so they reduced the length of the runway. They moved the threshold like 1/4 from the runway, from the beginning of the runway. And when we were approaching, you can't use the ILS, of course, because the glide path will guide you to the beginning of the runway. So we had to do a VR approach. And, the illusion was looking at this really narrow runway, because, normal, the Dublin runway is like 3,000 meters or even more. In that occasion, the runway was 2,100 meters. The tendency was to fly low, because you see a narrow runway, you see, I'm high, let's fly down. You put the nose down, and then you hear sink rate, because in 1 second you reached 1,500 feet a minute. But because you are looking outside, you are not looking at your instrument. That's the problem.
By the way, I heard that bank angle and pull up warnings, hearing that warnings is not good from the company point of view as well. But what about, I'm asking, have you heard sink rate or glide slope warning while you are approaching any airplane? And what is their importance from the company point of view?
It really depends on the company policy. In my company, the situation is, if you hear glide slope, that is an advisory information. So the action required by the company is immediately correct your flight path, or if unable, execute a go around. So it's common sense. If I'm a short final in Naples and runway 24, and I have a little bit of wind coming from the mountain, and I go a little bit down on the glide slope, but I'm reducing already the descent rate to recover the glide slope, and the system trigger glide slope, I don't execute a go around if I'm visual with the runway. You know what I mean? If I'm an IMC and I can't see the runway, and I'm doing a Cat 3 approach with the autopilot, and the system starts to call glide slope, that could be another kind of problem. For instance, an error in the QNH setting. That is another, is called banded error. It's an error that is hidden inside the system. If I put a wrong QNH in my airplane setting, I might end up too low or too high in terms of profile. This is very important when you do an altitude cross-check during the approach. For instance, if you are on a 3 degrees ILS, so a standard ILS, we expect to hear, to the 2500 call at about 7 miles from the runway, because 3 degrees times 7, sorry, 8 nautical miles from the runway, because 3 degrees times 8, 3 times 8 means 24. So at about 8 miles, between 7 and 8 miles, it depends on the terrain, of course, but usually between 7 and 8 miles from the runway, you should hear 2500.
Lining up runway 24
Hold
left.
on, Sasa, hold on. Sorry, the ITC is talking here in your ear. Just say your last sentence again. I've blocked the ITC. Sorry. You were
Can I
saying
talk or wait?
depending on the terrain, and then the guy started talking.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it depends on the situation, but usually on a 3 degrees glide slope, 3 times 8 nautical miles is 24. So this means that at about 8 miles from the runway, between 7 and 8 miles from the runway, I should have the 2500 call.
Makes sense.
In terms of radio altimeters.
Yeah, makes sense.
If I hear that call at 12 nautical miles, that means there is a problem with the QNH setting, and I'm actually really low. You know what I mean?
Yeah, makes sense. There's some common
So it's
sense
always a
logic in
good
that.
check.
Yeah.
It's always a good check. When the radio altimeters came into game, 2500, always look at your distance from the runway. It should be approximately between 7 and 8 miles.
Gotcha. There's another question for you from Steve. So, do airliners tend not to use the poppies?
It depends, Steve. It really depends. Bergamo, for instance, the Papio runway 28 is calibrated for the 757 by DHL. So if we fly, as we do, the glide slope, we keep the glide slope absolutely centered, and then at 50 feet you look out, the puppy is gonna show you 3 reds. Now, it depends on the puppy alignment. The puppy is set up maybe for a wider aircraft. If you're flying a VOR manually, or if you're flying a visual approach, of course we fly the puppy, because the puppy is a good indication to start a kind of vertical profile to the runway. If we have a glide path, we will follow the glide path, of course.
What
It really
kind
depends.
what kind of information do you need to read to understand that calibration done for 747 or another type of airplanes?
It depends when it's on the charts, not on the approach charts. I think is on the general one, that you have the distance from the threshold. Like sometimes the puppy is not aligned with the threshold, or the inclination of the puppy lights is a little bit more. You have to study for the wider airplane to know this information. But again, if we have the glide slope perfectly centered and the puppy showing 3 reds, I'm not gonna do a go around.
For example, you are performing a visual approach, okay? You need to make a very sharp turn for final, and there is no distance, there is no too much distance to land, but this is under procedures, okay? If you hear bank angle, what will happen?
Well, I don't hear bank angle in terms of all the turn are done maximum at 30 degrees. We used to do maximum 25. We go 30 degrees only if necessary. The trigger bank angle, if I remember, is triggered when the bank angle is about 35 degrees. So it's not even 30, it's 35. We never reach 35. If you reach 35, then there is something else, some other kind of problem. Even in a visual approach, we always try to create a good, sharp turn.
Thank you so much, sir. I believe you are tired. We are
Don't worry.
tired.
No, I'm trying to install the various library Nix planes. You know, I'm completely fucked up with this, but anyway, I will try.
Listen, Andrew says thank you. Yeah, on stream he says thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's a pleasure, Andrew.
So have a look here. I just want to explain something to you quickly.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with the JEP chart quickly. If you look at the actual chart, it says final approach course is 62. This is what you were speaking about earlier. This is what we have on the charts.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if we go and we actually look at the FMC, what Zibo has done in trying to correct the problem, you will see it says 61 degrees. You see over there. Alright, so this is to compensate for the discrepancy that is in X-plane. So you'll find that sometimes it's 1, sometimes 2 or 3 degrees out from what your chart says. But if you want to set up your course correctly according to X-plane, you need to use this one in your approach reference, and then you make sure that it goes into your MCP. So just keep that in mind. It's going to mess with you as a real pilot a little bit, but this is how it works. Because if you don't have this value in the MCP, it will be in the yellow strikeout on your PFD.
Exactly. In fact, this is what happened yesterday in Bergamo. Yes. I had on the FMC 282, I think. 282, but then I set it on the MCP courses 284, which is the real one, and there was the orange strike.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Then the other thing, I'm not sure if you know about this, but there is a performance calculator for the landing. The one for takeoff is not complete, but if you actually fill in all the information and you leave it on all in that line, you can actually get the complete diagram, and you can see auto brake 1 is not going to work for us, and then you've got 2 and 3 with its respective lines.
Well, okay, wait a second, because on that screen, no, in the previous one, if you see, so I'm looking at the streaming on YouTube. Sure. If you go back on the page 1 of the landing performance, okay, yeah. So 06 to 50 dry, yeah, that is the information. Flaps 30, anti-eyes off, yeah, that's fine. Normal, speed brake auto. The reverse, we're gonna use all reverse.
Alright,
if you're gonna use the reverse.
That's fine, we can't select it yet, so that little line is not working. Okay, so.
But consider that in terms of just informative for you. Sure. In terms of landing distance, if you have or not have the reverse, is not gonna make you a big difference in terms of distance. Okay. The reverse is making a big difference in terms of brake cooling after.
Sure.
That is the main thing.
Understand. Yeah. Good. That's a very good piece of information. But anyway, there you go. There is your graphic, and you can now see.
Yeah. Now,
what you can use.
My knowledge, the maximum landing weight for a 737-800 is 65,317 kilograms.
Yes.
We're gonna land with 65,200, as I can see over there. Now, in a situation like this, especially if I land with the actual wind, what I will do in terms of safety, I will put a -5 in the wind section, so to let the system think that I will have 5 knots of tailwind, and let's see what it will come up with. My feeling is that if we put a -5 tailwind, the auto brake 2 is not gonna work either. So in that situation, if I was flying, I would straight go flaps 30, auto brake 3. And then I have always time to disarm the auto brake. Not there, but in the wind. if you put instead of 200/4.
Okay, hold on. There.
No. Wait. In the iPad, in the performance one.
I'm going there.
Or maybe there is a lag in the streaming. That's why.
There is, yes. So it's 200, and we say at, let's say, 0, because we can't have a minus.
I think you can. I mean,
No, there
at
is
least
no
you
minus
can.
facility on the iPad. Yeah, that's the problem. I cannot stick a minus in there. There's nothing to press.
Is the blue one? Is the blue button? I think.
Oh, hang on. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. Let's put 4. I'm not sure if that's going to give the correct thing. Let's see. Yeah, it's an error. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do a -4. But what we can do is we can just make it a 0. So we at least drop 4 knots.
I think you don't need to put, if you put the minus, you don't need to put a direction.
Okay,
so
let's
just
do
try
that.
to write -5, for example.
Doesn't want to. I'll have to speak to Zibo about this, because this is a very interesting point. So there's -5 knots. Nope. It wants a value for direction as well.
Well, if the runway is 060, let's say, and we want the reciprocal, let's do +200 is 260, -20, let's put 2405.
240 and 5. Alright, okay. There, it's got 5 tailwind. Yeah, you're so clever. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that will do. And now, if you do the calculation with this situation, so assuming we will have 5 tailwind, auto brake 2 is quite tight. Okay?
Yeah, it is
so
tight.
my opinion is, in this situation, I will go flaps 30, auto brake 3, and at least initially, and then I have always time, once a stop is assured, to disarm the auto brake.
Yes.
This is what I will do in real life, to be honest.
Sure. Well, it makes sense.
I never like to see my stop, because this is a perfect word, you know?
Yeah,
this is the perfect word with an actual wind. But then if I come up with 10 knots tailwind at the end, or if I land with VREF +7, that is gonna be plus, I don't know, another 50 meters, for example.
At least.
You know, we are not computer.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That was a nice lesson. I like that.
Chapter 4? No, chapter 5, I don't know.
Yeah, guys, get your
Ladies and
pencils ready. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are just below 10,000 feet. Then please, in silence.
Oh, well, you are. I'm not there yet.
Just kidding, Nico.
No worries. I know.
Has been switched on.
Folks from the flight deck, we've started her to...
Do you used to put the rings for the runway?
I do sometimes. When we do training, I do, but I don't have to do it.
Do you want to fly a visual approach?
Yeah, I'm going to do an ILS approach, and look, it's probably going to be visual. I can see for miles and miles. There's no clouds here.
Exactly. But remember, always fly the instrument. Don't look at side. Just report runway inside for the ATC, but don't fly outside. Don't look at side. You will end up high, I can tell you.
Will do.
It's a promise. Okay, maybe I managed to install the first library. Maybe.
Just don't add extra folders. Make sure when you put the library into custom folders, it's the name of the folder and then all the contents below it. Don't make extra folders, then it should work.
No, I'm trying to download the Linate scenery.
Okay.
So I went into explain.org and I'm into the Linate airport, and it says libraries to use the scenario, and I have a list. So I'm downloading one by one and then putting into custom scenery before putting the Linate one.
That's fine.
I don't know if
Just
that's
do
correct.
It. Yeah, do it.
The one thing I love about X-Plane is that you can just delete the folder and
Yeah, it's gone.
technically, yeah. But I have a question. For example, the first library is Mr. X library. Now, I found this library, but it says it is to download the static aircraft for the scenery. The question is, because I'm gonna fly online with Ibao Vatsim, and I don't want static traffic. Do I need to put this library anyway?
You'd need to put the library there, otherwise you're going to get scenery errors. Remember I told you yesterday, if you want to remove the static aircraft, you need to get WED, the world editor, and then edit them out manually.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't put the correct libraries in their entirety in there, you're going to get scenery errors.
Okay.
Starting descent.
Okay, I'm at 8,200, Hakan. And
19,000.
Chris. Okay.
And yesterday I had lots of problem with a friend of mine. I was trying to stream here on Discord, but as soon as I start to stream, my voice dropped, and the quality of the streaming was like really bad.
Yeah, but what is your upload speed? Remember, download speed is one thing and upload speed is another.
The upload, the last test I did this morning was 15.
Should be fine.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if I have to set up some DNS.
Let me have a look quick.
So basically I just downloaded the Mr. X library. Inside the RAR there is a folder called Mr. X library. I will just move that folder into custom scenery, that's it.
Yeah, should be
Thank
fine. No worries. Right, yeah, I see the little train going there, Timothy, very nice.
The what, sorry?
If you look on the Sim Toolkit Pro map, we've got all the guys flying, you know, one after another. It looks like a little train. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what the guy mentioned, yeah, on stream. Ibiza traffic, Ryanair 9900 on 17 nautical mile final for runway 06 full stop. Okay, Kevin. Well, we should all try do it together, I suppose, Hooksters, because my mind is all over the place now. I'm gonna need help with that.
And I have another question, if I can now, or I will wait.
No, go for it.
The other library is OpenScenery X, so I downloaded the. If I put OpenScenery, will send me into a website,
Yes.
and I downloaded the OpenScenery X installer Windows 2.7.
Correct.
This means I have to install it, or again, I
No,
can
what?
just move
Run the exe. No, run the exe. Follow the prompts. It will do everything from there for you. Just run the exe
great.
and it will tell you.
I will extract first and then run.
Yeah.
1,000 to go.
It's getting close. There's 8 nautical miles with a 26. Yeah, just gone past 25. So it was at 7.5.
Of course, he's installing everything on the OpenScenery because it's the first time.
Yes.
Let's see, it will automatically set in the custom scenery, I guess.
If you pointed it to the correct explain folder, it should.
Yeah, I just click on use Steam, so he automatically detected the path to reach explain.
Sure. Look at that. Those two guys are on each other there on that degas. Right, guys, moment of truth is coming.
Yeah, you see, you have already the runway aside.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the instruments.
Absolutely, because if you start to look aside now and you are in manual, you know, your tendency, okay, I'm good now, and you start to pitch up a bit.
Yes.
Not pitch up, but to reduce the descent rate.
I understand.
That is not good. In this situation we are quite heavy, so with the flaps 30 I'm expecting to have a settings of N1 around 60, 62. Usually with flaps 30 and 60 tons is around 57, but we are heavier today.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Birch, altitude set.
Oh, OX, did it work? The 2500 call at 7 miles? I didn't look.
Yeah, we were at 7.5 miles when we hit 2,500.
There we go.
Approaching minimums. 400. Minimums. 300. 100. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 80 knots.
Here we go.
Yeah, I didn't say anything because in the video you came with a lag in the streaming. But again, it was nice. It was nice. It was a firm touch. This is what we need to do a landing with an heavy aircraft. But don't tend to reduce to start to flare at 50. I looked at your instrument, and if you do the replay and you look at the PFD, at around 50 feet, you start to reduce the landing rate, and it came up at around 400 feet. Instead, you have to, at 50 feet, just look at the end of the runway, but don't reduce the descent rate.
Okay.
Keep it going, keep it going. At 50 feet, just look outside, but leave it. At 30 feet, start to gentle close the throttle. Don't shut, but just reduce slightly to come up with a 20 call with the throttle completely off, and then it will sit.
Okay, I'm going to try that next time. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Ibiza traffic, Ryanair 9900, runway vacated, taxi to the stand. Marco, thanks for the subscription there, buddy. Welcome. And thanks Alba, Pina, and Will. Awesome. This is... I want to speak Afrikaans and I can't. You guys won't understand, but this is awesome.
Jy kan praat.
Ja, dis nanas. Yeah, this was a good stream. I really liked this stream.
Very fascinating.
Yeah. Quite lappies. Yeah, lekker. Guys, how far are you other guys from landing? Can we park around somewhere here and watch you guys?
Turning on to final now, Nico.
Awesome. Alright, I'm gonna park here quickly somewhere so we can watch you guys come in. Always nice to do some plane spotting. I like the Afrikaans coming through on the stream now. Welkom manne. Not often we do that.
You won't want to be waiting for me, Nico.
No sir, no, we're not waiting for you. I do understand your predicament. Did you come right at least, Uncle John?
Required a reboot.
And it's working now?
I'm en route.
Okay, cool.
Harkin's got his serious face on.
Hakan, I'm looking at you at your stream here on Discord. Are you going to Ibiza as well?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wonderful. I will watch you.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody here on Discord's going the same place.
Okay, great.
No pressure, Hakon.
No.
No, of course no pressure.
No shortcuts.
15 miles.
15 miles, okay.
Wow, this open scenery is installing lots of stuff.
It is. It's very big.
It's like 11,000 elements.
Yeah. Fortunately, once you've got the libraries, you're okay. They don't often update. They do sometimes, but not often. And then, look at this now. We need to go around. Then basically what needs to happen is you just keep an eye on it, update when necessary. But other than that, when they're done, they're done.
Oh, that's good. Well, I don't know when you have free time just to manage the MTL and for VATSIM, and then the joystick thing, because that is quite annoying me. It's so strange.
Yeah. Well, we'll look after the stream.
Yeah, no rush, no rush. The aim, if I'm able, is to do a first online flight this afternoon.
Sure.
That will be magic.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Ibiza, I remember this place. I have been called, it was a standby day, and I have been called to go down with a captain to pick up a broken airplane.
Okay.
And we went back to Bergamo with this broken airplane with 2 engineers on board. Oh gosh, that was a long flight, like 2 hours, hoping that nothing happened. But anyway.
Yeah. Wow. Just waiting for the APU. Yeah, Ora, if I fly offline, I don't park like this, but while you guys are watching, I thought I'd better put up a good show. The parking.
It's like the captain when there is some parents on board. They do a perfect taxi, a nice taxi, and when there is no one, they just park like crazy.
There we go. Okay, let's log this flight. Oh, look at that. Excellent landing. Excellent.
Hakan, you did what is called a continuous descent approach. I didn't say anything, I promise. But you did something really nice. That is called continuous descent approach. So basically, you intercept the glide slope. You now continue to descend even like with your ILS. This means VNAV work nicely.
Yeah, it does. This VNAV can do ANP 0.02. This thing is freaking accurate.
Yeah.
Ryanair 7527 established on the ILS.
Nico, just out of interest, what cruise level did you use?
350, Uncle John.
Thank you, sir.
Did you forget your landing lights? I don't see landing lights on. Or is it listening to my one? I love this part of the stream when we do this plane spotting and everybody comes in and we all talk about it. And I've logged my flight all over and then we can do a replay. It's just nice.
I'm on STKP, by the way, Nico.
Cool. I see there was an update for it just now, by the way.
Ah.
Yeah, mine's telling me new version is downloaded, restart to update. Nice landing. Who is this? Hakan?
Yeah, that was Harkin.
Very good, sir. Very good.
Yeah, you can smile now, Harkin.
It is not a good landing. Sorry.
Well,
Why not?
Long landing a little bit.
No, it was
Yeah,
in the box.
why? I know why. You know as well, I think, after the chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. What did you do as soon as you disconnected? I can tell you, this aircraft is wonderful. This aircraft, you can lost all your instrument, just need to set attitude and power setting. That's it. You just need this. If let's say if you are on a good glide path and you have again, it depends on the weight, but around flaps 30 is around 57% of N1, flaps 40 is around 63%, and you keep it there, and then you just play, but just slowly, and then you follow your instrument. You can just go smash it.
Oh, I can do that on any landing. Smash it.
Good morning, Mac. Trying if I forgot to say hello. Good morning. Nice to hear you.
Good
Are you?
morning.
Nice to
I
see
have
you.
been watching. Yeah.
Cool.
I've been sort of like lurking, but also flying elsewhere with something else. Yeah.
Okay.
You got enough expertise in here today. You don't need me.
You know, we always want you, yeah.
No, I know. That, as you say, let somebody else do all the.
Yeah, Sasa was brilliant today. Thank you, Sasa.
He was. I was.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
I was very interested, especially. I've
You
got
know-
to go back and play that bit about the customizing the approach business, the speed.
You know, it's very nice going back to the question that there was about the flight simulation things. It's nice when you find a group of people that are interested in knowing more and try to do proper simulation even better and better.
Yes.
You know, it's very nice because otherwise there is no point for me to say something. I will just bother you.
Yeah, I know. No, we on this channel, this is one of the reasons I made it, was to teach people the correct way of doing things.
Yeah, I promise. If I manage to have everything working with the simulator, joystick, whatever, and the Discord doesn't start to flick like the streaming like yesterday evening, I will do some videos regarding the circle to land.
I must admit, I mean, I don't suppose our interest or involvement, or to the levels we do, would be anywhere near the same if it wasn't for the ability of this Zibo aircraft to produce a lot of real world sort of situations and effects.
Oh, that was not a bad landing, I suppose, but the VATSIM depiction of it was terrible. Shame.
Yeah,
That was not
that
good.
was a bit.
Anyway,
messy.
okay. I'm going to disconnect from VATSIM and I'm going to do a bit of a replay. Let's have a look.
Have you logged your flight?
I did. Yeah, I did.
And we vacated.
Awesome. Welcome. Yep.
Look at your instruments. When you disconnect and then approaching the 100. I'm just saying again, just for the fun of it, just to...
I know exactly what you mean. It's just going to take a bit of practice to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that's a good point of this channel, as you said, getting better and better.
Yeah.
I like your approach as to how you're, sharing the knowledge. So diverse approach.
Oh, it's a pleasure for me. That's why I'm well, in the companies to become an instructor as well. So I like this.
Good. Mac, you just might want to bring your mic a little bit closer or put some gusto in it. You're a bit soft.
Understood, sir.
Thank you.
Open Scenery just finished.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a big one.
Can I delete now this folder, or I need to keep it?
It depends. You're gonna need it at some point in time again. Maybe 6 months or a year from now. So you can re-download it if you really want to.
1,000 feet stabilized, Mr. Birch, altitude set.
Yeah, you see, you are a little bit heavier, so he's keeping 800 feet a minute. It's between 700 and 750 usually for a 3 degrees glide path.
Yeah. Spooled up. I'll be with you in a second, and then we'll try and help you to the best ability we can.
300. 200.
No, I changed my mind. My landing was good.
100.
Yeah.
I lifted the nose a little bit there.
There we go. You see? Look now. Look now how the rate of descent will reduce like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, for
You
sure.
see? 500. You see? 400. That's it. That is the point when you eat a lot of runway.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. Okay. So spooled up. Please explain to me exactly what you want me to show you, because obviously setting up for final starts a long way back. It actually starts in the cruise already. So I'm not sure what would be the best value to show you. If you can just give me some clarity there, I can talk you through it.
Can you wind that back to about 400 feet? Because there was one bit where I think why you ended up with the 400 descent. That is, you actually were taking a nice 750 and all of a sudden your descent dropped to 900 and you grabbed hold of the
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, it did go because I watched the instruments like Sasso said, right? So as the glide slope went up, I tried to follow it and then I realized it's not going to work.
You see, you're doing a nice 1,000 there, but it was doing a nice 750, 800, and then at about 150, 200 feet, all of a sudden it went to 900. And that's when you pulled back on the yoke, I think, and where Sasso was saying. I mean, I'm asking for his comment actually as to what I just observed, then see what he thinks.
Sure.
So, sorry, you mean
there,
when you disconnect?
It's now gone to 900.
Yeah, it's because it's just a tendency. So is when you do the transition from the autopilot into the manual flight.
200.
The
But
tendency is immediately you feel a little bit of nose up, so the tendency is to put the nose down.
100.
It depends on even now with the, I think guess with the joystick that we have. The real one you have the
900 there, you see. Then he pulled back, and by that
Yeah.
time he was on the runway.
Well, I can tell you, the closer you are to the runway, the smaller you have to do the correction you have to do.
Yeah.
Because a big correction on short final means a big change in the glide slope
Yeah.
and whatever. Just a small correction will get you back on the 750 feet.
But
That's
still,
all I can say.
still a good, solid, and good landing, Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. That is what you need when you are heavy like that.
Sasso,
Yeah.
can you please watch my stream again? I'm replaying.
Yeah, I'm inside. Yeah, if you want to show the instrument, because I realize better. I don't know if you want to look outside or whatever. Yeah. So now, if you zoom on the PFD, just look on the PFD. There we go. Look at the vertical rate. 50 feet, you start to call up too much. You see? You came up with around 5 degrees nose up at the beginning. And that is a big reason. Remember that the vertical speed indicator has a lag in the system. So you don't see immediately your landing, your descent rate. There is a lag a little bit. So when you look at the PFD at around 30 feet, you flare, so you pitch up, but you pitch up too much because you went around 3 or 4 degrees nose up. You look at the PFD at around 30 feet. You are basically nose up. Look, there we go. You see? You are 5 degrees nose up. That is too much. So what you need is just close and hold. So just keep that attitude. You don't need to pull to go nose up because otherwise you will float. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much for your evaluation.
Welcome.
Approaching was good, but landing not good.
Now, well, the landing was fine. It just if we have 3,000 meters of runway, that's not an issue. But I'm saying the correct technique to do all the landings in every airport, even in the short runway, is just go and do a positive firm touch.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Welcome.
much for your information.
Right, okay, I'm gonna press the button again. Just wanna get it stable. Go for the approach. Alright. Pause. Approach should be on now. There we go. Alright, okay. Spooled up. I'm going to tell you two things quickly. In terms of setting up for approach practice. What I usually do, because I don't just do approach practice, I actually do the whole circuit. So I use Porto, which is Lima Papa Papa Romeo, as my normal training base. The reason is you can go either way, and depending on the runway, you get different kinds of approaches that you can do, and it contains EGNOS, ILS, your LNAV, VNAV, VOR, NDB approaches. Everything is there. Okay, but disregarding that fact, so what I do is I will then set up the flight as if it is a real flight. You'll see you have to go to 11,000 feet in the circuit and a whole bunch of things. And then what I do is I use the facility here. Now I'm going to have to unpause it. If you go to save and load, you see load save flight. Then at different stages in the flight, like at that one will be just before takeoff, the next one will be on downwind, the next one will be you know, on another phase, and then maybe on finals. I would save situations. All right, so at the click of a button, it literally does what it's just done now. I click the button and the Zibo goes back to that state with the, you know, autopilot and everything in place where it should be. And from here on, I can refly it, because this is now not a replay. It literally takes me into a position where I saved the flight. I have to take over and fly it, you know, naturally and completely from there. That is answer number 1. All right, so it takes a little bit more out of you. You need to put a little bit more in. Then for the guys who are not aware of this, this is answer number 2. All right, so inside of STKP, and this is specifically for the Zibo, guys. Dan made this specifically for the Zibo. You can go to Tools and Data, and then you go to your approach system. Right, you set up your airport, your runway, and then you run through the checklist, basically left to right. Once you are done, you click fly this approach. All right, I've had to click it 3 times, and believe it or not, the same goes for the tablet. Sometimes when you click on load flight, you have to click it at least 3 times to get some stability, because the Zibo obviously now needs to be put into that position. So sometimes you click it once, sometimes up to 3 times, not more than that. It should then put you in position. Once you are in position like this, all you have to do is then simply unpause and go. So you can see we're on the approach, everything is exactly the same, and we can just replay this over and over and over until we're happy. You know, and this is how you set up your final approach, just for practice.
You can't do this in real life.
You can actually do this in real life in the Level D simulator, but not with the real aircraft.
I'm gonna have the simulator on 15th, the full fly sim, and we are gonna do the circuits, because we have the requirement, the legal requirement for every pilot is to do 3 takeoff and 3 landings in the last 90 days. So we're gonna do a little bit of fun in the sim.
Well, spooled up, I'm glad I could help you. Sasso, as a matter of interest, if you look on my YouTube channel, and specifically actually more on my Facebook page, the Skymatics Facebook page, you'll see my real world flight simulator sessions that I have recorded. We've had much fun in the Level D sim.
Nice.
You know, so all the videos are there, guys. You can go have a look how we do it.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you, spooled up. Yo.
It's no dislike on this video today.
Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Spooled Up, for the blessing there. Much appreciated. Let's see if I can do a better landing now or a worse landing. But the fact of the matter is, this is how you can practice. Just makes life easier.
Is he here? I'm watching the YouTube. Is that a play or
no? This is me flying again. I used my Sim Toolkit Pro to set up an approach. And this is what I've just shown the guys. So you can
on X-Plane, I saw that on X-Plane you can tell to put you on 3 miles final, for instance.
Yeah, we don't use X-Plane. I don't know why it's porpoising now. Probably because of
approaching
the fact that this is coming from a saved flight situation. But anyway, let's disconnect the autopilot anyway. Fly it in. I'll just keep my eyes on the instruments.
Yeah, just follow the flight director. It's quite good. Just keep the flight director there and do small correction. The closer you are, the smaller the correction.
Yeah, 100%.
Flight slow. Flight slow. Flight slow.
200.
Flight slow.
Glide slope, my ass.
Yeah, exactly. That's the good call.
Glide slope.
100.
Just correct again. Is not go around. It's just correct.
40.
But the glide slope is fucked up there. But anyway.
20. 10.
Yeah, just keep going down. Keep the rate.
It was a bit deep. It just floated. Okay, guys, it just means I need to practice more. That's all. That thing floated. No, Sasso. I really messed up now. I messed up.
I don't know why the glide slope went like crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those silly things. So, Sasso, are you watching the stream?
Yeah.
All right. So, in Sim Toolkit Pro, all right, this is the page that you use to set up. You see, you can do a vector approach, you can do a base approach, downwind, whatever. But you can set up all the detail. Then all you do is you click the button.
Yeah.
All right. It takes you back to the position where you set. Blogger man, you're welcome, man, and also Huxtus and Paul, thank you guys, you're welcome. So anyway, like I said, you probably have to press it once or twice or 3 times just to get this thing,
I don't know why the glide slope starts to become crazy. I have no idea.
Don't know, my friend, don't know.
Because explain 11.
Sorry?
In real time, I think probably there is no glide slope warning during such an approach.
Yeah, probably. I'm not sure. Let's just click the button again, make sure it actually puts us in a better position.
In order to validate it, we need to fly with a real Boeing 737.
Yeah. I don't know why. Look, no, this is now the second and third time. Let's just press it once more. This should stable it. I don't know why it's doing this. Anyway, damn it. I'll have to figure this out. I don't think it's something on my side. This has got something to do with the way it reloads. It doesn't like it anymore. Okay, so if that fails, guys, the best way of doing it then, or the only other way of doing it, is to go and do a safe flight situation. Go to a safe flight situation. This aircraft is obviously very unstable, right?
It's a wonderful streaming, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Arkan. You see, it's like it's already in a state of stall and it's not taking itself out of it. So I don't know why that would be. But anyway, let's do this. Just let's try one more thing.
Is you have too much flaps out, maybe?
I don't know. It's a couple of things it could be. But anyway, look, it's not infallible. So let's just go put it there. I found you need to load the approach all over after every attempt. Yeah, I can see there's something missing. Let's just try it. Anyway, guys, I don't want to keep you. You get the idea. It's meant to work. I obviously missed something somewhere now. So now the Zibo is completely completely off. See, one of the things also, and for the viewers also, is because it's still largely script based. I know from experience the script sometimes don't play ball, so I'm not too worried about it. So
on runway 06.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Gonna set up everything on the ground the way it should be. Go back on the power. We don't have that yet. Let's go to 30. Alright, let's press the button. Yeah, that's better. Command and approach. Oh, hang on, it needs to pause first. Come on. Alright, so pause, then unpause. Bring it a little bit back, go to approach. Yeah, that's much smoother. See, now we've lost way too much ground. It should come back now. There you go. Okay, alright, thanks Will, that's a good tip. Andrew will share the links when he's set up and running. He's not set up and running yet, and then we'll share the links and stuff to his channel as well, alright? And Will, you're welcome. Stephen, somewhere there's a setting, my friend. I don't know where to even go and look for that setting, but somewhere there is definitely a setting. If anybody else could help Stephen, that would be appreciated. I don't know where on Steam you have to go to get that. Alright, this will be my last attempt, guys, and then we'll see you later this evening. Guys, in terms of this evening, I extended a invitation to guys that have been complaining that the Zibo has bugs and it doesn't work to come and bring their operational flight plans this evening so we can talk about it and do those flights or parts of those flights. Whether they will actually pitch up is a different story. I don't know. Alright, so guys, whatever happens, I'll be back later this afternoon from 1600 Zulu onwards, whether they come or not. And if they don't come, we're going to do a normal flight. If they do come, we're going to talk about the troubleshooting of the Zibo and installing it correctly and actually operating it correctly. So just bear that in mind, guys. And obviously if the wife changes her mind, there won't be a stream, you know, then she wins, but we hope it doesn't happen. Anyway, look how stable it is now. So guys, the rule seems to be very clear here. You have to start stable. You can't just start anywhere and expect the system to be stable when you do a request like this. That's the one thing, and you know, just follow the prompts of the other things that were mentioned. One thing that is for sure is we don't have the same weight anymore. So the aircraft doesn't have the same weight, and you're going to have to also pay attention to your weights. That is one thing definitely for sure. So let's see. There's all manual now.
4 approaching minimums.
To clarify, Nico, how many problems have you had with the current Zibo?
Oh, none. I've had no problems. Nothing at all.
200.
I just needed you to clarify that.
Yeah.
100.
See, the glide slope is now working nicely.
40. 30. 20. 10.
I'm gonna have to perfect this landing technique.
No, but the glide slope seems fine now.
The difference is the ILS didn't fly it. I flew it with hand a lot of the way, so it's debatable. It's debatable. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I just want to understand if the glide slope are all crazy or I don't know.
Well, what happened as I came in the first time, the glide slope all of a sudden went very high and I went very low under it.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it went up to the second dot there, which is normally a go around. So, I mean, it really went high. And I still, you know, was right on where I was supposed to be. Doesn't matter. Guys, I hope you've learned a lot. I think you have, and thank you for all the thanks for that. Sasso, thank you for being here. Everybody else, Uncle John, Chris, Hakan, Jose, McTrying, Paul, Steiner. Will, Entity Self, Stephen. Man, there's a lot of names here. Guys, thank you so much. I'm not going to go through the whole list. You know who you are. Thank you very much. We'll talk later again if everything goes well. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You can see it, Nico.
Bye all.
On runway